Join me in this journey of transformation as I let go of human expectations and embrace the truth that true riches and wealth come from God alone. It's not about chasing material things, but aligning with God's purpose and trusting His provision. Don't forget to like, share. Join me on this journey of faith and freedom. Let's go!
Lord, keep me in your care everywhere. Yeah, yeah. Oh.
There's so much going on. It's so much hurt and pain. But don't lose the faith. Hold on. I know it seems dark, and it may not look like it's getting any better. But you gotta do this. Look at somebody and say, I'll trust. I'll trust. You gotta trust in Jesus. Say it again.
Future looks so bright, I gotta wear shades. What? You gotta trust in Jesus.
God's what it is. He wants it, yeah.
Yo, shout out to my man, Mike Hunter on the drums on that joint, man. That was crazy. Yo, shout out to Aisha Red. Shout out to all the people that sung background and stuff that helped me out with that record. I trust in you, man. That's crazy. Love that record. Man, thank you for joining me. I want to welcome everyone and welcome all the new people to the new channel on YouTube, the Jehovian the Music channel. So this will be the one where we normally talk music, God, relationship. Well, we're not going to talk relationship. Music, God, and tech. So that's going to be this channel. We're going to say the King Joe Show for sports and politics. So we're going to do a little bit of separation between the two. So when you hear, this is going to be more the music channel, more the tech channel, just kind of getting everything kind of organized. And that's the thing that we want to do. But first, I want to say thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like, share. And, I appreciate you joining me on this journey of faith, freedom, and music, man. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a great opportunity to get into some things that we're going to get into here. All right. Some things we're going to get into. And today we're talking about Alicia and myself from expectations and new beginnings await. And the new beginnings that we're talking about, like I said, now we're actually here on Jehovian, which is not a new channel. It's an old channel, but we're relaunching it. And it's funny. Today I was talking and get some counseling and different therapy and stuff like that. And I was speaking, kind of having a conversation about some things that were happening, some things that people were saying, and some things that was happening in my life. And my therapist, the person I was talking to at the time, they dropped the nugget on me, okay? And I called him my therapist, a counselor or whatever you call it. They dropped the nugget on me. And they said, King, they said, you can't carry other people's expectations as though they're your own, right? You can't carry other people's expectations as though they're your own. Okay. And a lot of times people try to project their thoughts, their expectations, their actions, and the way they think onto you. And a lot of times we'll find ourselves carrying burdens that aren't really our own. Okay, we'll find ourselves carrying burdens that aren't really meant for us to carry. And this channel here, we're gonna tackle a lot of things when it comes to music, when it comes to production, when it comes to God, when it comes to faith, and the marriage between the two. But you know, even when it comes to technology and things of that nature, a lot of times people try to project their expectations and their thoughts onto you as what you should do. And once you get of age and you get of a maturity, you find out that it's not about trying to follow the path that someone else has, but trying to follow the path that God has for you. And often we find ourselves trying to follow paths that other people set for us, or trying to meet expectations that other people set for us. And a lot of times those things can be overbearing, and you find yourself not being as joyful, happy, and free as you would be if you would just walk in the freedom and the purpose that God has for you. And I know for me, over the years, I had issues, and still do. I still have people that try to print their ideologies and their thoughts onto mine, right? And it's cool because I'm a person and I sponge up, and I love information, I love learning and stuff like that. But it gets to a point where like your expectations and what you want doesn't necessarily mean that's what I want. And a lot of times we will degrade, or we would ignore the things that we feel that God has called us to do to make sure that everybody else is cool. And this is what I'm learning. Do what God told you to do. You know what I'm saying? Do what God told you to do. Because out of everyone else, he's the one that's going to be the most consistent. And real talk, he's really the most important thing. He's the most important person. Everybody else kind of falls a distant second. Other than maybe your husband or your wife. Husband and wife, maybe. Only two that don't, right? So, and y'all got to excuse my chair. I got to keep lifting up because my pump is going out already. I just popped this shit. It's a bit heavy. But do what the Lord told you to do. And you have to get to a point where you have to, because a lot of us have bogged ourselves down and chained ourselves down trying to reach other people's expectations. And we look at numbers, we look at everything else. We look at wealth, who's successful, and we try to dictate and measure our status based upon other people's status. And once you get free of that, it's a real true freedom to be like, I don't care what you got. I hope you got, as long as I'm taking care of me and my family and the things that God told me to do and the people that God told me to impact, I'm happy. And oftentimes we have issues because we're too busy trying to make everyone else around us happy, make everyone else satisfied, right? And the people who, and a lot of times the people that we're trying to satisfy, you will never ever satisfy them, ever. I was listening to a comedian, and he was saying that when he was in the hood, people would like hate on him because they was like, he don't have this, he don't have that, he ain't make this, he ain't make that, he ain't make that. So when he actually started making that, then he signed around and those same people start hating him because they thought it's like, oh, now you too good for us, you better than us, blah 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 blah. And it really is a win-win, a lose-lose situation when it comes to certain people. But it's only a win-win when you're dealing with God. It's only a win-win when you're dealing with God. right? And it's not about chasing material things, but actually aligning with God's purpose and trusting his provision. You know, I remember Bishop K.E. Phillips, when I was working under him, he used to always say, he used to always say, if God gives you a vision, he'll also give you provision, right? And we have to recognize that God is definitely the source of every blessing. And his plans are always greater than our own, always greater. And a lot of times we look at this, that, like I may look at the numbers and like, oh, I ain't, and then a lot of people watch it, but the impact may be something greater than what it, than the numbers that we see, right? The impact may be greater than what we even recognize. And we may be touching people that we never, ever recognized that we touched. And that's why I wanted to make sure that off the rip, when I did this first broadcast, is about unleashing expectations. Don't try to put guardrails and fence, what I'm doing and stuff like that to fit what you feel like is right. Go do your own. Go start your own. And me saying that is not me. Oh my gosh, because I got to watch saying that because people be like, oh, you don't want to. Yeah, let me stop. Me saying that isn't a diss or me trying to put somebody down. Me saying that is that, hey man, you're gonna have to give an account for the work that God has for you too. Because I know people will be like, oh, he trying to put somebody through no shots. You got to do what God told you to do. Regardless if I do what God told me to do, you got to go do what God told you to do. And regardless if you do what God told you to do, it's on me to do what God told me to do. It's on me. And if either one of us are disobedient to doing what God tells us to do, then we have to deal with God. And I don't want to deal with God. I'd rather deal with you. I'd rather you not like me than God not like me. You know what I'm saying? That's just facts. I really, really rather you would like me. I'd rather you not like me than God would not like me. And I've noticed like the more I open up, the more that I am accessible, or the more visible. The more visibility that I show, the more critique comes, right? And the greater you grow, the more critique comes your way. And a lot of times you gotta understand that critique is jealousy. Like, it is what it is. Like, people are envious. They're very jealous and envious. And a lot of times people want, and they see what you have, and either they see something in you that they can manipulate, or they can grow and they can get something from, or they see you as the example or the inspiration to do what they're trying to do. And the latter, the inspiration and example, is the thing that's really positive, because we all inspire each other. I know there's plenty of guys that I sit and I watch and I get inspired and say, man, I need to get busy. I need to work on my work ethic. And inspiration and jealousy are two different things. Inspiration causes you to look at yourself and say, I have to do more to be better. Whereas jealousy is looking at it and say, hey, I want what they have. And at the end of the day, let me say something. I promise you, I got delivered today from somebody today that was by my counselor. I got delivered, and he told me, King, you can't be jealous of someone that you don't want anything from. They don't have anything that you have. And they don't have anything that you want. What is there to be jealous of? Like, people like, oh, you jealous? I'm like, well, I don't want anything. What do you have that I want? And it was like, you have nothing. When they said I got delivered, when I heard it, I was like, oh, snap. And I had to think about it. It's like, well, what did you want? I'm like, I didn't want anything. I was like, what are you jealous of? Jealousy comes when people want what you have, or they want to be a part of what you are, what you're doing, and they can't. Or they want to manipulate what you're doing, and they can't. There's a lot of people get jealous. Me, and then too, they had to say, because I get a little bit up there, right? So it's like, I'm cool with what I got. Like I like me. I like the fact I'm a big guy. I like my talent distribution. You know what I'm saying? I like my wife, my house. I'm cool. Like I really ain't envious of anyone else's thing. Like I ain't envious of anybody else's um success. I'm not wanting anything to steal or take anything from anyone else. Everything I want, I kind of wanted to get it on my own. I want to get out of the mud. Like I kind of want to get it on my own, and I want people to, the people that invest, and people that bless to bless. But I be wanting to get it on my own. Because I understand that it's God, and if I get in His will, it's going to be Him that makes me rich. And then a lot of times we look at what other people have, what other people doing. We don't understand what other people went through to get there. The sacrifices that they made to get that, right? Even now, if we're looking at what's happening in the music industry and everything else, and we're starting to hear the stories of the sacrifices that some people were making, and the offerings that they were giving, when it be it their character, their bodies, whatever they were doing to reach certain places. And I'm like, yo, a lot of people aren't willing to make those sacrifices. A lot of people aren't willing to make those sacrifices. A lot of people aren't willing to step out on faith and do the certain things. I just want you guys to be wise and to follow what God has for you, and don't look for other people to follow other people, but stay on your own path. Stay on your own path. And I think that's what happens. And you have to remember, man, because a lot of people, because even in this society now, and I know TikTok might be going tomorrow, they said, I got mixed reviews on that. But even now, if you look at society now, right? A lot of society now is, hey, let me show you how to get this. Let me show you. Let me give you this. If you do this, you can get this. These are the rules. You got to have these rules. And they get you. That's how they draw you in. These are the 10 things you must do to get this. Right? And then they give you the 10 things and you like, I've been doing that. Because you see that all the time. You see people, and really it's they teach you that in social media. Y'all don't know, in social media class, they teach you that. These are the top 10 things you need to do to make $1 million this year. These are the 10 things you got to do to get blessings from God. Right? I mean, that's something that they literally teach you in class. Like, they teach you that. They teach you these little buzzwords. These are the techniques you must have. Even in music production, these are the plugins you must have. The top 5 plugins for mixing. And, like when you start getting experience and you start understanding, you be like, well, sometimes they right and 9 times out of 10 they wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times they're wrong. But that's what people do. They do that because they're trying to draw you in. They're trying to get you to pay attention. They want you to change course and to buy into whatever it is that they're selling. And I'm here to tell you on this channel, as I get ready to close, on this channel, you don't have to worry about that. We're gonna be completely honest. We're gonna try to be as transparent as possible. Now, will we take a check to to review and to use stuff? Yes, but we're gonna always give you the most transparent and honest reviews and takes possible. And I'm gonna leave you with a couple of things real quick. And I told my wife, I said, I'm trying to keep it on 25 minutes. But remember, I remember a couple of things, because a lot of people always talk about, you got to do this to this, or so-and-so did this, or so-and-so did this to get that. And I'm like, yo, man. But Deuteronomy 8 and 18, it says, but remember the Lord your God, for it's He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors, as it is today. And if we was to do a little bit of context, I know y'all like that word, right? In that context, that verse of Moses' speech to the Israelites as they prepared to enter the promised land. He reminded them God's provision during their journey through the wilderness, warning them not to forget God once they prospered in the land. Because that's what a lot of times we do. Once we start getting prosperous and once we get back on our feet and we start killing it and people start giving us compliments and they start hiring us and we get the jobs, we start putting God on the back burner. And you always have to keep him first. And Moses was warning the Israelites to not forget God once they prospered in the land. He was emphasizing that their wealth and success are not the result of their own efforts, but are the blessings from God. They're from blessings from God. The talent that you have, the things that you have, it's a blessing from God. God is the source. Wealth and prosperity come from God, not human effort alone. I don't care how much you work, what you put in. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I'm gonna overwork everything. Hey, listen, man, God will open the doors. You in his will. You gotta have a covenant relationship. Because God's blessings are tied to his promises. Let me say that again. God's blessings are tied to his promises to his people. And a lot of times we get haughty and we start thinking it's all about us and it's about what we can do and blah, 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 blah. And then we get knocked down. I did this song called 2 Loaves and 2 Fishes. I may end it when I went off. Turn off the recording. And 2 Loaves and 2 Fishes, I legitimately sat there and talked about how I rose in music and how we was making noise, so much noise as doing Christian hip hop. Where even the world was taking notice. And in the verse, I say, lost faith, then I found it. I got haughty, then I got grounded. And then I realized it was about God and not about King Joe. But what I allowed the enemy to steal from me, God replied it double. He replaced it double. Gratitude and humility. Remember, God keeps us humble and prevents pride when we succeed. And listen, man, because pride is crazy. It's wild. And people, listen, and listen, a lot of times people will be the source of your pride, but they'll also be the source of your humility. And what I mean by that, God will use people. Let me break it down a little bit better. God will use people to check to see, right? People will build you up. He won't use people, but people will build you up when you start developing pride within yourself, right? And then those same people will turn around and be the same people that humble you and be like, yeah, I don't like them. And that's why I stopped being so because I know for me and myself, man, they be ready to jump on something I say. They be ready. They want me to slip. They wait. I'm talking about the fact checkers are out there. They're out there. I'm talking about they overzealously out there. They're out there. They want me to fall every time. Like if I post something, they're critiquing what I posted. And it's cool because I used to do it, so I can't get mad. Like I can't really get mad. But it's like they're out there. Like don't get it twisted. They're out there. The same people. A lot of times. That's that gets you where you start feeling yourself and you start building pride up. A lot of times it'll be the same people that cause you to be humble. That'll humble you. Right? But if we stay consistent in him, stay in God's will, scripture says in Proverbs, it says that the blessings of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. And that's verse is saying that part of the wisdom of the literature of Solomon contrasting godly living with worldly pursuits. This scripture highlights the blessings from God come with peace and fulfillment, unlike wealth pursued solely through human ambition, which can bring stress and hardship. And we know this true because we know it's a lot of people with money. I tell people all the time because people will quickly try to judge you based upon somebody else's financial status. Because you hear people say, "Oh, they got themselves together. They got this. They got money. They got cars. They're at their bank." And then a year later, they're gonna kill everybody. And be like, "Well, what happened?" They're like, "Man, I don't know. They had it all together." No, they didn't. Do you know? Like, wait. Do you know the first things that the enemy offered Jesus when he tempted him? Can we go to that real quick? Oh, we in it now. Okay, let's go. The first thing the enemy tempted Jesus with is the first thing that we throw in people's faces. All right? The first thing, let me pull up my script. I want to show you this. Let's go, Matthew 4. Matthew 4. All right, so Matthew 4. First thing, I'm going to read it. That Jesus led to the spirit of the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he fasted 40 days and night, he was afterward hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, "Thou be the Son of God, command these stones to be made bread." And he answered it, written, "Man shall not live by bread alone." Listen, now this is the first thing. Now he looked at what he needed, what he was lacking at the time. Right? And the things, listen now, something that his flesh was calling out for, which is bread. And he also said, "Israel, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out the mouth of God." Right? That's first. Then let's go to the second. Now this is where this is where we find ourselves a lot of times. Then the devil. This is what happens now. Then the devil takes him up to the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple. And said unto him, "If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he should give his angels charge concerning thee." What he's talking about here is first, listen, he went to enticing him by his flesh, the weakness that he had. He had known that he had been fasting 40 days and 4 nights. So he went first, enticed his flesh, right? Didn't work. Now he's coming secondly, and he's saying unto the Son of God, "Cast thyself written, he shall judge angels concerning thee, and the hand shall bear thee up, lest any man should dash the foot against the stone." Jesus said to him again, "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." Now watch, that's our pride thing. Man, I could fall. God will pick me up. He'll pick me up. I can jump off. I can crash out. Jesus said to him, "Written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." And then the devil. Listen to the last thing. Now this is because this is what we love to do. So first, our flesh, what we're hungering for, what we're thirsting after, what we're anticipating. The first thing is the flesh. The second thing he's talking about. Listen to what it now. It's pride. Cast yourself. He'll catch you. You got command of the angels. She's like, "Man, that's not gonna happen." All these things. Now listen, then this is the last thing. And they were taking him up to Exceeding High Mountain and show him all the kingdoms in the world and they glory in them. And he said, "All these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me." Those things that he tempted Jesus with. Same thing he be tempting us with. Same as that thing. Same as that thing. And it's funny because like a lot of times when we're going through this stuff, a lot of times when we're going through and we're going through hurt, we're going through pain, we're going through trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times based upon what we do. First Chronicles. King David's prayer. He says, "Wealth and honor comes from you. You are the ruler of all things. In your hands are strength and power to exalt and give strength to all." Wealth and honor is David's acknowledging God's sovereignty, wealth, honor, and power are all under God's control. He distributes them according to his purpose. Even leaders, kings, we have dependence on God. And we need God's strength to succeed. That's not easy gratitude and worship. Recognize that and thank God for the source of all. He is the source. He's the source of all blessings. In my closing, what we're learning tonight is that this is to remind us that wealth and success are gifts from God. They encourage us to remain humble, trust in His provision, and align with His purpose. Instead of striving solely through human effort, we're called to depend on God, knowing that He blesses us in ways that bring lasting peace and joy, and not turmoil and toil. That's why I love Him, man, because, like, you know, what we're going to do, we're going to be great. I don't even worry about, like, you know what I'm saying? Greatness it is what it is. I was telling my wife the other night was talking. And I said, man, I didn't ask for this stuff. I didn't ask for it. But God continues to bless. And I'm going to continue to humble myself before Him. I'm 30 minutes. All right, cool. We're good. All right, so we went over 6 minutes. She gonna fuss at me. I said 20. But listen, thank you guys so much for doing this. The first one. We're gonna come back. Bolo saying some crazy stuff. We got some tech to talk about. NAM is coming up next week. Got some production stuff to come up. I got some more scripture stuff I want to tell you about some things that I want to share with you that'll help you just grow along with me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we want to be like we're experts and everything. Like, you're nobody. You're dirt. I'm dirt, man. I'm dirt. Bolo made some comments, though, about education and music. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about is Korg coming out with a new Chronos, which is crazy. I've been hearing rumors there's a new Chronos dropping in NAM. We'll see what happens. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some more coming up. Make sure you guys hit the other channel, the King Joe Show. The King Joe Show is on the other channel. Thank you for coming to this channel, Jehovian. The Jehovian channel. Jehovian means God has become, and that we become all things through Christ, that we may say something. Okay, that's our motto for this channel. Hey, I really appreciate you guys, man. I love you guys so much, and you guys have a fantastic remainder of your evening and night. Sweet rest. See you tomorrow.
In your grace, I'm getting so close. With my soul, your love, I'm gonna share. I'm reaching out, you're my lifeline, yeah. I feel your touch, it's like I'm born new. In your arms where I find my truth. Your love divine, it's my holy place. Ooh, the faith I feel is like a love pack. Praise so high, then drop to my knees, I stack. Wrap me in salvation, no cap. Ooh, pray your mercy keeps my soul intact. When darkness falls, you're my shining star. Guiding light, you heal all scars. In the silence, I hear your voice so clear, making my heart rejoice. With each breath I take, your presence I feel. A love so real, it's the power to heal. In my weakest moments, your strength I claim. With every praise I sing your holy name. Elevating spiritual grace is my shield. Got this holy fire inside, it's been revealed. In the chapel lights, my soul takes flight. Hands lifted high, to the sky so bright. Embodied in peace, no worldly strife. In your embrace, I'm feeling love.
That is so crazy. I promise I'm dropping tracks. I'm dropping tracks in people's inbox just to work on, all right? I'm going to drop tracks in people's inbox. Just be like, hey, I heard this on you. This is for you. That's what I'm doing. I'm working on something. I'm just going to be dropping tracks in folks' inbox. Be like, hey, I wrote this specifically for you. You know what I'm saying?
Lord, you're my solace.
I love you guys.
In your presence, I find love so sweet. From a time